I'm Deep Mahaman, and you're watching the Redmen TV.
Okay, we're gonna move on. I've had enough of talking about other teams. Let's talk about us again. It's Liverpool are playing Fulham at the weekend. I don't think anyone's really asked, to be honest, but we're going to talk about it anyway.
Talk about selling the segment to the viewers.
Welcome.
None of us are that arsed.
Welcome to the show. No, but it's funny because you're gearing up.
I didn't even know we were playing until he told us then.
You're gearing up for it, and I'm sure everyone gets this sort of feeling. You know, the season is very much. The season is over, but of course the season is not over. So we're going to take a slightly different approach to this week's show. We're not going to talk a massive amount about Fulham because he wants to talk about Fulham. Let's talk about us. Chris, Steven Gerrard ruled out for the season. Daniel Agger ruled out for the season, and that is the happiest I've ever been saying those words.
Yeah, 2 games to go and not
of their careers. It's the only time I've been able to smile saying Gerrard and Agger out for the season. Who gives a shit? I think it really opens the doors for a slightly more experimental Liverpool side that I thought we were going to see in these last couple of games.
I think obviously if we'd have beaten Everton, then it would have been a bit of a different game against Fulham. But you know, I do want to see some youngsters come in now and get a little bit of experience. I'm not talking 5 or 6. I'm talking 2 or 3 maximum. You know, even if it's bring them on at half time type of thing. I don't want to see wholesale changes with the team because I just think that completely disrupts your rhythm. But definitely, you know, maybe give John Joe a shout at centre mid.
Where?
Centre mid, sorry. And we talked about it before again, Andre Wisdom. I think he should come back into the side, take Glenn Johnson out the firing line, or you know, move Carragher across and bring Wisdom in, something like that. I don't know, but I think it's definitely time for the kids now with 2 to go.
Yeah, because I mean, Gerrard, I think, Mike, to a certain extent, is sort of by the by. We've got plenty of options. We know it. John Joe's probably going to come in. He sort of is the most logical in that position. It's Agger that is most exciting to me because we've talked about it in weeks gone by. You've got, I think Martin Kelly's written off for the season, isn't he? I think they've come out and said that. But we were talking about Andre Wisdom. People are touting him as a centre-half and we think, well, where does he get the games to prove that? There's a really great opportunity here with 2 games to go. Get him in that side and see if he can do the job.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. You know, I think that, you know, I would have liked to have seen him figure a bit more this season at centre-back as well. And even, you know, in spite of, you know, some of Enrique's more erratic performances, maybe there was an argument to move Johnson out there to get Wisdom in that way, you know. Or even to have played Enrique further up the pitch, you know, maybe on the left-hand side.
Yeah.
So,
where's that gone? the madness of Enrique.
This is the thing, and I could forgive the madness of Enrique when he was more at that end of the pitch.
Yeah.
And you know, I mean, he had a couple of games earlier on this year, but he was just great, wasn't he? He was just bombing on, you know, just.
Barnstorming is the word to describe it.
Like, you know, just a happy Labrador, just charging down the wing. You know, there was no pressure on him defending, didn't need to worry about it, he could just sort of blunder along and things worked out, you know.
Well, the fact of the matter is he didn't know what he was doing, so he was such a handful for defenders who definitely didn't have a fucking clue what he was doing. Like.
And he was on some kind of same wavelength with Suarez because he's bonkers too, so there was like, it seemed to work quite well, you know. So yeah, I mean, I'd love to see Wisdom get involved, and also Sterling as well. So, you know, I mean, it seems like, you know, Rodgers just wants us to kind of package him up, put him back on the shelf until next year.
Yeah, almost forget that we've had to use him.
He's out now though, isn't he?
He's
injured, is he? Is it an ankle injury? Is
That's a real yeah.
It's on the sheet there somewhere.
No, it's not.
So,
didn't bother with injury news, so I told you we're going to talk that much about the man.
But for me, the centre mid, I mean, I think we need to drop Henderson back there. We need to drop Henderson back in, and then, you know, maybe that frees up, you know, something different with Barini and. You know,
is there? I mean, we're talking about this that as though it's definitely going to happen. There is still an argument that Rodgers could quite easily use this as a chance for. I mean, you think Scale could come straight back into that side?
There certainly must be thoughts in Rodgers' head that he's got to give Scale a chance to see whether he is actually worth persevering with or not.
I'll take Carragher out as well then.
You know.
But are you going to? Yeah, but that's the thing. Carragher, if there's nothing to play for, this is the.
Carragher's still going to play for it.
You get exactly, and also it's Carragher's last 2 games for the club. He's the captain.
Club legend. He's on the run-in. So.
I'd say play him in the home game, but you don't need to. Look, he's decided to leave us at the end of the day, so we own nothing anymore.
Brutal talk.
Fucking now, is this your managerial technique coming out
so
again?
what, like?
But I can see Carragher definitely playing in the last game at Clifton Home, and maybe not in the Fulham game if he wants to try what Gerrard will do and see what Wisdom will do. But you know, who knows? You know, it's just one of those games where you can basically do what you like and explain it away by I'm just seeing what happens.
Well, this is the thing. This is where I'd rather see us go a few more kids. I think it's like I get Teixeira in there, and I'd get McLaughlin maybe at right back.
21's got a big game against United on Saturday or something.
Oh, well, that sort of fucks that up then, doesn't it? But then again, like he's ever give a shit about the other 21s, he gives and takes from that whenever he wants. Like, you know. Yeah. So I don't know. I think you're right there. I think that the QPR game you've got to go out on a high. Because it's the last home game.
But just remember though that there is, I think we're 5 points behind Everton, can't we? Everton's last 2 games.
West Ham and Chelsea.
So you know, okay.
If they win this though, it's done, isn't it?
West Ham,
Well,
will there be 8 points?
A draw, I think even a draw is
there. Yeah, they only need a point because they'll only be six left to play.
Yeah, so I'm just saying, you know, if
I think we beat them on goal difference if they got 4 points and we got 6. That'd be right.
No, I don't know.
I thought
should have worked this out before coming on.
I had it in my head they needed to lose both games and we had to win 2 to finish above them. So that would make sense if they were 5 points ahead.
If they draw, they're 6 points ahead.
Yeah.
But if we win both our games, we're level, but we've got a better goal difference. So we'll go right.
Yeah.
So the key
So
point.
that.
So they can't win.
So if West Ham bring that bus that they left at Anfield,
They'll just pick it up on the way.
Oh, come on, Andy.
So we still have a chance.
Well, this is it.
Flimsy though it is,
we
still have a chance to finish above Everton. So, you know, call me old-fashioned, but I think that's important, you know. So maybe it isn't the time to be experimenting with kids. You know, I think if the kids should have featured earlier and to a smaller degree because the team's fucking knackered. Yeah. Look at the side, they're dead on the feet.
Yeah.
You know, and one of the things that Rafa did really well was he managed the squad really well. Ferguson's done it this year at United. He's managed the squad fantastically. Rodgers has played like Kenny Dalglish in 1986. You know, like I think we only used 13 players in the whole season. And he's got his first team in mind. It's okay, it's evolved a bit as the season's gone on. But then when he's got that team in mind, he just plays them every single week. And I don't think that's the smartest way to do it. So
I think he probably got fed up playing the kids, though, didn't he, before Christmas or up to Christmas?
He had no choice.
He played them week in, week out, and then suddenly doesn't have to. Yeah. So he doesn't.
Yeah. Well, this is it. It's fallen back on seniority, and the fact is we've proven that the kids don't have the ability to be match winners at the minute, so it's almost in his mind it's like there's nothing to be gained from playing them right now. They've gotten all the experience. They'd have probably had spread out through the season in one big chunk at the start.
Yeah, but
they've burned a lot of them out.
But you could argue that they'd be better placed to shine if they were being used less and as for shorter periods.
Look, I fully agree. I think you know, and this is why I think you might as well think, look, fuck it. You play Fulham away. They've got even less to play for than anyone. They're safely ensconced just below the midway point of the table.
They're not quite safe, you know. If you look at their form is terrible.
Yeah.
Absolutely
so many
terrible.
teams. Excuse me, though. There's so many teams that they're relying on about 10 different results. It's all happening.
Well, on that, come on. It is the match build-up. So the form guide, Fulham sitting 20th in the form table at the minute based on the last 6 games. In the last 6, they've taken just 1 point from the last 6, lost, draw, and 4 defeats. And they've lost the last 3 games at home as well, but winning the 2 before that and losing the 1 before that. So you know, the point I'm trying to make is I think we can afford to. We can still experiment a bit.
Yeah,
and still hopefully have enough to be able to get a win against.
It doesn't mean that much to us, does it? The game, it doesn't. You know, and I think, you know, as much as I'd love to see us go there, field a strong team, and try and finish the season above Everton, I don't think the players are that arsed. And if they were, we'd have seen it last week against them.
It's a hunger issue, isn't it? I mean, this is the case for the kids. Is if you tell them, here's your game. We're playing Fulham away from home. It's a pretty decent level test of your abilities as a Premier League level player. So Suso, I say McLaughlin, Wisdom, maybe even Teixeira if you want to go that far, or anyone else who's particularly impressed. and you say, right, go on there, go out there and fight for your lives and fight for your place, because if you're good enough, you'll be definitely in my plans for next season.
Show me what you can do in the Premier League.
I mean, I don't go with it myself, because I'm thinking, I'm still not sure whether Henderson can take over the Gerrard role or not, so there's an opportunity.
Yeah.
I'm not sure whether, Coutinho is best behind Sturridge or whether he's better out on the left, so here's another opportunity to try and find out. There are bigger players than Suso, unfortunately, and Teixeira or whoever, who we still need to see what they can do in that first team. And without Carragher there, without Agger, not without Carragher, without Gerrard and Agger, and without Joe Allen, etc., and Suarez, there is an opportunity for players who are actually in the squad to try and set the mark for themselves.
Yeah. Great opportunity for Berini.
Yeah, Berini
as well. He's hardly had any games.
Let's not forget that although we're all fed up because the game against Everton was a big disappointment, we trounced Newcastle the game before.
Yeah.
Away from home. So why not Fulham and do the same?
Yeah.
I'd love that.
Yeah.
I'd love us to end the season with 2 really big wins.
Yeah, it'd be great. I mean, the game against Fulham the other year went Dalglish. That was towards the end of the season, and that was great, wasn't it? Gave everybody a lift with 5-1?
The Maxi Rodriguez riot act. And don't forget, we beat them 4-0 already this season, which is that was like one of our first real convincing performances, I thought, on the Rodgers as well. So, but the fact of the matter is, I've come to expect responses from Liverpool this season. When we've been a bit disappointed, we always tend to come back strong off the back of it. It's just whether we have been. I mean, Newcastle just seems it's possible that when we look at this last run of sort of 6 games coming into the season, the Newcastle result could look like a complete fucking aberration, because we've had so many 0-0 draws in and around it. This is a real big test of, can Rodgers motivate the players? Are the players there up for one last push before they go on the summer lollipops, you know what I mean? And so that I think, we'll see. For me, I'm going to have a quick bash at an 11 that I'd like to see, if nothing else. I think obviously Pepe stays in goal. I don't think we've got any options at left back at all, so Enrique will probably stay there.
Darling?
I'd keep. I think. Well, you know what? Let's go full experiment. Let's have Skrtel and Wisdom at centre half. I don't know which way they're going to go around. So for the sake of argument, I'll put Skrtel at left side because he's the senior of the two. Ryan McLaughlin right back because he's my new Bezzy. Do you need to play Lucas Leiva? Connor Cody, get him in there, get him, wind him up and send him off.
Strong on the youth here in this lineup.
Fucking fully experimental. John Joe Shelvey and Henderson is the other midfield, and then Coutinho, Sturridge and Berini up front. Fucking have a bit of that.
I'll give you 20 quid if you're right. I'll give you 20 quid.
We are never going to see that 11 grace the pitch. We might if we're allowed to use more than 3 subs for some reason, and we're 5-0 up with 10 minutes to go. But let us know your line of predictions. How do you think Liverpool should approach this? Do you think we should opt to give the youth a chance, or do you think we should go full strength, fuck it, and just try and hope that Everton royally screw it up against West Ham? Let us know in the video comment section underneath. Score predictions. We'll start with you, Dad. What do you reckon?
4-0.
Nice. 4-0.
Go on with the side he's just put out.
7. Go on, Mike.
4-0 to Fulham.
Oh, right, okay.
I'll go 3-0 Liverpool. I've just got a nice ring to it.
Okay.
2-0 Liverpool.
5.
Whoa.
Not necessarily with the side I've said.
Actually, you said 5-0 and we won 6 the last time, didn't you?
No, I have been. I think on my wild predictions, I've been right more close to right than I've been.
So you've been wrong. Close to right is wrong.
I know you can't quantify absolute, but in this instance, yeah, fuck it. You know what I mean? Yeah, there's nothing like a bit of fucking rabid optimism, particularly when there's no real reason for it to
get was ridiculously rabid, wasn't it? 4-0, 3-0, 2-0, 5-0 like
why not? If you're watching Martin Yell, good luck. Yeah.
It's the Ferguson news. It's got us all a dither. We're all giddy with delight.
Yeah, we'll. Oh shit, we didn't do the trivia question this week, but I'll just ask it now.
Do the big one.
I'll do the big one, and I bear in mind I've had to tone this down a little bit because Dave's got a little bit OTT in his wording of this one. There's one word that stands out on this, and you'll know what it is because I'll highlight it. Which absolute twat of a manager paid £3.5 million of a limited transfer budget for a Fulham fullback? Clue, it wasn't Steve Finnan, but not only that, included two of our very hot prospects in Laura Dalla Valle, who Fulham had offered £3 million the previous season.
It was €5 million.
€5 million the previous season when the same manager was in charge for them. And Alex Kakanitlich, who's played 18 times for Fulham this season, scoring 3 goals and getting 2 assists for the Cottagers this season, bringing the total transfer fee for said ageing fullback to £5 million.
Just reiterate.
So to reiterate, which absolute spanner would sanction stupidity of that magnitude? Not that I'm bitter. There's a question in there somewhere. Who's the manager who bought? Who's the manager who bought Paul Konchesky? Is fundamentally the question. Thanks, Dave. Fucking hell.
You highlighted pounds and twat, so I was a little bit confused as to which one you were.
The question isn't even that hard. The question was just a vehicle to abuse Roy Hodgson.
It was an armoured vehicle of abuse.
You just really gave the answer away then, eagle-eared listeners.
Yeah. This was like anyone watched Thundercats, this was like the battle tank of questions. Like, yes, the answer to the trivia question is, of course, everyone's favourite Uncle Alface himself, Roy.
It was a belting question.
Hodgson, it was a belting question. But all right, do you want the proper question while we're here as well? No. Which Liverpool player has scored the most goals against Fulham? Answer that in the comment section underneath, and I'll give you the answer later on. Okay, we're going to move on from that. If you're watching this on YouTube, ta-ra. If you want to continue to watch the show, we've had a boss time. We've rounded up the derby with our blue nose mate, and he was very humble. I think he even said at one point that we were a bigger club.
He did.
This was very nice.
Those words were used.
Those words were used.
Got them on film.
I might have
totally separate.
I might have taken that out of context slightly. But yeah, check that out. We're also going to be talking about. He also talks a little bit about Moyes' potential move to United, which may have been on or off by the time this comes out. A little bit about the effect Ferguson leaving United's going to have on the Premier League, yada yada yada. We're going to come on to talk about the Anfield regeneration issue as well. So do tune into the redmentv.com, free for the month, check it out. If not, if you don't want to, yeah, do one. Anyway, lads.